All right, growing calls for the State Department to abandon DEI policies. A new report says its obsession has led to inefficient hiring, undermining U.S. diplomacy, and betraying American values. Simon Hankinson authored the report. He's a senior research fellow at the Heritage Foundation and joins us now. Simon, thanks for being here. So you looked at under the hood of what's happening at the State Department, and you say they're obsessed with DEI. Why?
They're obsessed with it because they have bought into this concept of equity, that all outcomes have to be equal across racial groups, across sex. And anytime you don't see that exact representation the way it is in the general population, the only explanation has to be discrimination of some kind, racism, structural racism, white supremacy, whatever you want to call it. So they're trying to fix it through rigging the hiring and the promotion and the other outcomes so that everybody ends up in the same place.
Okay, so we've got actually a chart from your report that shows there's bidding for positions inside the State Department, percentages of who bids versus percentages of who's selected. So the column on the left is 64% of men are bidding for certain high-level coveted positions, but it's an inverse on the other side of who's actually selected. So that's part of it. Hey, men and women apply, women mostly selected. Black and whites applied, minorities mostly selected, that kind of thing?
Well, that particular graph is just a snapshot of one bureau, Latin America, in the year 2020, but it does illustrate the point that there's no way that you end up with 1/3 of the bidders on those jobs being women and 2/3 of the winners of those jobs being women without somebody putting their foot on the scale. So that's just one example of the positive discrimination at the State Department in certain jobs.
What's the impact? I mean, our State Department is supposed to set our foreign policy, represent us around the globe. What does it mean to us, the taxpayers, to those they're representing? How does it impact us?
Well, we should expect to have an elite in the Foreign Service. There are certain professions that you just have to have free and fair competition, but end up with the people best able to do the job. And in the end, it doesn't really matter if all of our pilots are black and all of our brain surgeons are women and all of our plumbers are Jewish, as long as they can fly the planes, fix the brains and unclog the drains. You can swap out those ethnicities and you can swap out the professions, but in the end, America's about competition, it's about selection, and it's about merit. It's about people doing what they want to do. We want to create equal opportunity, but we can never create equal outcomes without exactly equal inputs, which is never going to happen.
It's a great point. Here's what the State Department, we got a response from the State Department to this report. They said, we haven't seen the report, but we welcome a diversity of viewpoints. Do they really inside the State Department? Do you think they welcome a diversity of viewpoints? Like, how do they feel about Trump?
Unfortunately, no. I worked at the State Department for 23 years. I loved working there, being a diplomat. But it's no secret that it does trend left. It's probably 3/4 or more people who support Democrats against Republicans. And yes, the general feeling in the State Department was not positive towards President Trump. And a minority of people, but a significant minority, were trying to undermine his agenda and probably would undermine the agenda of a conservative with strong views. And that's not in the interests of the United States. The civil servants are supposed to be there to carry out the will of the president.
No doubt. Well, Simon Hankinson, thanks for the report, for highlighting this for us. Really
Thanks
important.
for having me.
I'm Steve Ducey.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.